Hello, everybody, all our Patreon subscribers for Crash the Pond. Welcome to our live stream of the NHL, the 2021 NHL Draft Lottery live reaction stream. We have the Anaheim Ducks with the second best overall odds to get the first overall pick this year, right behind the Buffalo Sabres. This is the highest they've been in the lottery since I believe the 2005 Sidney Crosby draft.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a historic thing, and even if the Ducks fall to fourth, the at the end of the day here, what's going to matter is that the Ducks are going to get a good player, and the lowest they can fall is fourth. So we were just talking a little bit earlier about how there seems to be not necessarily as much excitement around this draft as there has been in previous seasons. And I mean, I've already kind of given my thoughts a little bit to those of you who have been able to watch so far. Jake, give me your thoughts. Why do
Yeah,
you think that is?
so this has been a fun stream to start, peeling the curtain back for everyone. So like CJ mentioned, this is our Patreon watch along stream. This is now the third time I think I've said that because I've just been having all sorts of technical issues. But we are going to post this on YouTube after the fact. So if you enjoy this, kind of like this type of little laid back type atmosphere, this is what our watch along tier is all about. But getting into this draft, it's one that I think it doesn't have the high end talent, and I think that you're spot on when you were saying this, that it doesn't have the Lafreniere, it doesn't have the Jack Hughes, it doesn't have the Connor McDavid, it doesn't have any of those types of players. So I think that's kind of led to this weird situation. I think the other thing though is that the Ducks are in a good spot where I think with them having the second best odds, like you said, which is the highest it's been in a long time, they're in a really good spot to get a good pick. And no matter what, whether they're first, second, third, or fourth, which are the four options that they have in this kind of draft lottery setup, they're going to get a good player. And I think that's an important thing to note for this draft. I think a lot of people are selling this draft a little bit short. And while no, it doesn't have that generational talent that you would potentially want at first overall, I've actually for multiple months now been claiming this is actually the perfect draft to be bad in, though, because the fact that there's this wealth of talent from like first through fifth or sixth, that you're going to get a good player. And no, you're not going to get this high end talent that you have to win the lottery for, but you're setting yourself up where you're in a good spot even if you lose the lottery, because you're still going to get a good player with a second, third, fourth pick. And so I think that this draft's also a weird one where who the player you could have at fourth or first on your list is available to you at fourth. So it looks like the lottery is about to get going. So here's a fun thing. I don't necessarily know how we're going to sync. That's a good question from Bobski. So just so everyone knows, because there's no exact timer here, let's just I'm currently on the screen where they're focusing on Matty Beniers. We are not going to have any audio either because of the fact that this will be going up as a recorded version on YouTube, so to avoid any sort of copyright claim. But so just to give everyone, if there's a good mark, I just have all the GMs on the screen. That is where I'm at right now. All the GMs are on the screen. I would say to not spoil in the chat, anyone in the chat, if you hear us mention, we'll kind of run through. How about that? Let's do it that way. We will go ahead and as a number is listed, we will announce it and say that whoever is 15th overall, whoever is 14th overall, and we'll kind of go from there because you and I potentially aren't even on the same point. So this is going to be fun. I just got to draft lottery notes on my screen.
So I am at all the general managers on the screen. By the way, Bob Murray is chilling there at a Great Park, it looks like.
So I will
He's
pause
got a
it
big smile on his
slightly.
face.
I will pause it slightly. I'm going to hit another point when they get off the draft lottery notes, and I'll have you let me know when you're there. Okay, it just shifted to the Anaheim Ducks portion on draft lottery notes. So anyone, this is on NHL Network.
All right, I've got the original draft lottery notes right here, so I'm not at the Ducks yet.
When it swaps, that is when we will all be. So we all are on draft lottery notes right now. And when it swaps to the Anaheim Ducks, that is when the point where we'll all be at. So that's how it is.
Cool.
Ooh, that's a good point.
All right, I've got the Ducks up here now for Ducks, Devils, and Coyotes.
Perfect. And Bobski, that's a great point. If anyone else has suggestions in the chat, I will gladly take them as we're kind of figuring this thing out. But after the next commercial, I will tell everyone when we are live, and we'll go with that. So right now the odds currently sit Buffalo with the best odds at 16.6 for each draft. The Ducks have the second best odds at 12.1. Seattle has 10.3. Is this a bad take? I want to see Seattle get the first overall pick. I'd like to see it.
You know what? That'd be really fun to see Seattle win the first overall pick. It would be.
And also, I think it would be hilarious because there would be so many people out there screaming conspiracy theories, and it would just be hilarious to me.
Oh my god, it'd be so great. I just for pure chaos.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want to feed the trolls. This is a situation where I think feeding the trolls would be fun.
And you know what would be, great? Given the fact that Seattle is starting out their franchise with such a heavy approach to analytics, like they are going all in analytics first to start this year. And with how many different potential options could go first overall, the fact that there's at least like 4 or 5 different guys who could realistically go first overall, I think that, potentially if they were to get the first overall pick, it would be fascinating to see who they would end up taking.
Look at Bob Murray at Great Parks Ice.
There's Ron Francis, new GM of the Seattle Kraken.
Yep. Tom Fitzgerald.
Jarno Kekalainen.
And
John Davidson. Back with Columbus. Yep.
Stevie Y. I could actually see the team, and now granted, I think a lot of teams potentially would take Owen Power first overall. I think we've been leading the charge kind of against taking Owen Power, but I think there's a lot of teams that would take him, obviously. I think the Ducks might even fall into that, definitely. I could see him being a very good pick at first overall for Seattle, though. Like he is kind of that cornerstone type of defenseman that you do want to have. And now, having said that, maybe that's a reason the Ducks should take him also, which is fair. The Ducks need a lot of things, though, adding into their team and everything. So I don't know. I really just I think Seattle is a team that would most likely take Owen Power because of essentially him having this kind of low or high floor, low ceiling type of game.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to say something here. There's, I believe they've already drawn the lottery. Like this is just the revealing of the selection.
Yeah.
So all the general managers already know who has the first overall pick. This is just the revealing show.
No, I don't think the GMs know yet. I'm pretty positive the GMs don't actually find out until this. It's been drawn, and it's been drawn in secrecy. And then essentially the person that's drawn the lottery balls will walk with the cards to the spot. I think is the way that it
I don't know if it's any. Keep in mind, I don't know if it's any different with the remote setup this right now, but previously to the remote setup, all the general managers were in a room together. And they were all like, they would find out the pick and then it would be revealed. So all the general managers would have known.
I actually don't think that's right. I'm pretty positive. And
no,
Robert M.
I wrote about this and looked this up. I knew this for a fact. This is how it used to be done. I can't guarantee that this is what it is now.
It may have changed at some point because I know that when they show all the people sitting in the room, they have no clue what's happened when they're all sitting in that room and
that's not what I hear. I want to look this up because that's not what I know.
Go for it. Yeah, because I know I'm pretty positive that they don't know when this is all happening. Because
the only reason I'm saying that, and maybe I was trying to read into this, but Bob Murray looked very happy. So
oh yeah, sorry. I think who knows? And here are the cards walking out.
Here they are.
Yeah, I don't think that they know. I really am pretty positive that no one knows, and I think a big part of that is when you see their faces after things are announced. Interesting that Bruce Boudreau's face is there. Oh, it's because I think this is all happening at the NHL Network studios, and he's an analyst there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's why. Give me Matty Beniers.
Yeah, one of the things I will say on Owen Power, I feel like there's a bunch of people who have been saying that Owen Power is not going to be good and that he's overrated. No, I completely disagree with that. Like, for me, given the fact that there are 4 or 5 different people who could realistically go over number one. I think like you, me, and Felix, we've talked about specifically like, hey, there isn't necessarily a best available here in the top 5 because you have 5 people who are all, kind of vying for the same place. Mm-hmm. And obviously the Ducks need more offense, which is why, I think a few of us would like to see them go offense over Owen Power for that. But that being said, anybody who picks Owen Power at first overall is going to get a great player in him.
It looks like, here we go. It looks like the
There we
cards.
go.
What is it? Bill Daly right there. So we'll see. Let's see. And I believe Felix is going to jump in at some point in time. I'm not sure when that is.
Maybe.
He said he wants to
We'll
jump.
see.
He said he wants to jump in to give his live reaction, which, as we all know with Felix, probably means he's going to come in and just ruin everything. just cause all chaos. Also, Felix is probably stressing right now. Oh, there he is. Here is the guy.
Here it is.
Let's see. This is
The card guy.
I will say I do love the drama of this. I think they
Yeah,
do
they
a pretty
do
good
a
job.
pretty good job. Mhm. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and so we have the cards now stacked up in front of Bill Daly for anyone watching live with us and wanting to sync up. And here he goes. Let's see. And I will announce as we go who gets what pick for everyone. And CJ, you can add any sort of additional analysis as we figure out the timing
Cool.
of this. And so let's see. 15th. Let's see, who is this going to be? He has the 15th card, the Rangers. I probably should have up a list of the actual order.
So this was the 10 spot move up doesn't begin this year, it begins next year, is
Correct.
it? Or does
Correct.
that?
Correct.
Yeah, that and the maximum of 2 times in a 5-year period
Correct.
begins next
The first
year.
thing for the first thing for this year is two lotteries instead of 3.
2 lottery spots. Yeah.
So here we go.
instead of
14th. Is this going to be
Dallas at
Dallas?
14.
So nobody's jumped up yet. Yeah, he definitely didn't know because he was like, "Oh well,
Yeah,
screw
no,
it.
you're right for this.
Screw it. I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm out.
He's like, peace out.
I'm out. No need to be here." All right, let's see. 13. Is this going to be Philadelphia? Pure chaos. Yep, it's Philly. Pure chaos. I really wish Arizona would have won one of the lotteries just to force them
So
to
they
redraw.
have to redraw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love chaos.
So keep in mind if they reveal a card here and it's skipped a team of what the final standings are, that means that team won a lottery pick.
And Calgary's won, so no one's won yet. Calgary,
No one's won yet.
Calgary was
Yep.
the next team. So-
Chicago is next.
And then
So let's see. God, if Chicago wins the lottery here, I feel like a lot of people are going to flip some tables.
Yeah, come on. Let's see. Who's going to be 11?
Yep,
Chicago. There you go. So it's saying, yeah, you and I are pretty synced up. Perfect.
Yep, cool.
Which is good.
You may be like a second behind me,
which is
but
fine. I hear
yeah.
you say it as I see the information.
Cool.
They're going quick. I think they have to go quick this year because it's not an event. They have a game after this to get to. 10th,
Ottawa. Okay.
So no one's moved yet.
No.
Things are looking okay.
I do like this. The fact that nobody in the teens has won a pick. So
Yeah, exactly. Watch. It's going to be Vancouver. Watch. 9th. Let's see who ended up winning. Or who's 9th?
Vancouver.
I was wrong. I'm happy I was wrong.
Yep.
God. It legitimately, I said I wasn't going to care about this. And now I'm like, on
And
pins
now
and
you
needles.
are.
It's like I said, like, it's just the event. It's just like,
the drama,
even
man.
when you have horrible odds, you sit there and are just waiting.
Yep.
It's like awful. This is
Number 8
like
would be
agony.
LA. Still
LA.
no winners yet.
LA staying at 7. Good news for Ducks fans, or staying at 8. Good news for Ducks fans there.
So
LA
far, so good.
LA does not jump up into the top 4 or 5. 7.
San Jose would be next.
Let's see if it's going to be San Jose.
Yep, San Jose.
So, let's see. Detroit, Columbus, New Jersey, Seattle, Anaheim, Buffalo. Those are the teams that are left. Time for Detroit. Are we going to see a Detroit logo right now, or will it be Columbus?
Wow.
Detroit.
Okay.
They're staying 6th.
5 Columbus.
Let's see. Is it going to stay Columbus? Let's see.
Oh, wow.
Columbus.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right, here we
Columbus.
go.
So we may get Seattle first. It's possible.
Still have a little bit here.
Yeah, I think what they'll do is they'll go to a commercial break once they hit 2. 4. Let's see, where's 4?
New Jersey.
Ducks are getting a
guaranteed top 3.
Top 3 pick. Top 3 pick for the Ducks. Good news. Good news.
Go.
The Ducks at worst have fallen 1 spot. Let's see where this goes. Bob Murray with the kids skating behind him. All right. So wait, are they just gonna take a break? Yeah. Well, okay. So let's give a little bit of a reaction here. Top 3 pick. Good news overall for the Ducks because there is, no matter what, like we said, top 4 is a clear delineation there. But obviously, the higher up you can be in this, the better because you're getting your pick of the litter. And so that's a good thing overall for this Ducks franchise. And so they're going to end up with a top 3 pick for the first time since Bobby Ryan.
Yep, Bobby Ryan is the only top 3 pick that the Ducks have ever had. They picked him 2nd overall in the 2005 draft, and then they've picked 4th a couple of times. At least once, Paul Kariya was famously a 4th round selection in their very first draft. I actually don't think they have picked 4th before. I think 6th probably has been the other lowest, and that they've selected both Hampus Lindholm and Jamie Drysdale at 6.
Yeah, I can really. I mean, maybe there were some. I mean, here we can. There's something called the internet, CJ, that I can actually kind of look this up. So let's see. Draft.
Wow, what a concept!
I know, what a concept. It's kind of crazy. Let's see if I can go all the way back. So they had 4th overall. They did have a 2nd overall with Oleg Teradovsky. And they had another 4th overall with Chad Kilger. 9th overall was then Ruslan Saleh. 5th overall in 98 was Vitaly Vishnevsky. And Stanislav Chistov was taken 5th overall in 01. Lupul was taken 7th overall in 02. Smead was taken 9th overall in 04. And then Bobby Ryan 2nd overall. So this would be the highest pick, though, definitely since Bobby Ryan. And one of the, let me kind of just really quick, they've had they've only had 2 top 2 overall picks ever in their history.
Okay.
Oh, Felix is in.
Suppies.
Felix is here, everyone. Let me get this set up correctly. And
Return of the King.
You dropped this king.
all right.
Yeah, by the way, Felix, I just saw you tweet this. They are technically not in the lottery because they're only doing the top 2 spots this year, so we don't know.
Oh, that's right. Screwed by the lottery changes.
Yeah.
Yep. But keep in mind, people, that like a top 2 pick means the Ducks won a lottery pick. Like their team was drawn. So we'll find out in a sec.
Felix screwed over by technicalities. Name a more iconic duo.
Destroyed.
Yeah. Funny anecdote about that, which I'll just not share on the stream.
Okay. Okay.
He's just teasing everybody.
There you go.
Hey, I got a great story. I'm not going to tell you on the stream, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so here we go. Hopefully, Felix, you're not ahead of us.
I'm just looking at Twitter. I'm not even looking at it.
Then you'll just listen to us announce it then.
Yeah, make sure don't, because Twitter's obviously
I'm pretty sure Twitter's faster.
So don't then get off Twitter.
Oh, well, I already know what happened.
Well, don't say a word. No one in our...
I'm not going to say anything.
Do not react.
I'm not going to say anything.
Felix.
Can I tweet it, though?
No.
All right, we're back.
You have to wait. We're back.
Here we go.
I can't tell what this means, though, from Felix. He's so cryptic.
We don't know if he's trolling us. All right, here we go. Number 3.
Let's see. Are the Ducks going to get a lottery pick or not? Where are they going to...
Oh.
I'm
so
fine with
either
it.
Buffalo or Seattle won the lottery.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah? So can I say it now?
Yeah. The Anaheim Ducks have the 3rd selection in the upcoming draft.
Yep.
So Seattle has won a lottery spot. Like I said, I want Seattle to win.
I do too.
I would like Seattle to win.
Yeah, I actually think this is ideal for the Ducks.
Yeah, because now you potentially won't have Owen Power off the board. Seattle won.
Buffalo Sabres. Nope.
Oh,
Buffalo
sorry, that
Sabres
Buffalo's won, so Seattle's 2.
Seattle
Got
picks
it.
number 2.
Got it. So
Yeah.
the Anaheim Ducks have the 3rd overall pick in this upcoming draft. They fall 1 slot, so they do not win one of the lottery slots.
I honestly think I'm just gonna jump in and start reacting because
By the way, that's
an
another
opinion.
draft lottery win for first overall pick for Taylor Hall.
Wait, who got
Well,
first?
Still
Buffalo.
counts.
Wow, yeah, that does
Still
count.
counts.
Taylor Hall wins another lottery. Wow.
Damn, the Sabres got first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seattle got second.
So
Yep.
The Ducks would get leapfrogged by an expansion draft and by an expansion team in their first draft.
Right.
Well, I think that this is the best landing spot because it's almost guaranteed that Power will be gone by the time 3 rolls around. I
would say so. Yeah.
I think Buffalo takes him first. Buffalo.
I mean, I
Buffalo-
actually think it kind of makes sense for Buffalo.
Well, Buffalo
Yeah.
also notoriously doesn't really have a large scouting staff, which means that they will probably go with what everyone else says.
They'll just draft off of Bob McKenzie's
Yeah.
prospect list.
Exactly.
Of Bob Well, so I think that I could the funny thing for the Sabres is I actually think they should get Beniers or Eklund or because if Eichel is
Hands
indeed
off my Matty B.
well, if Eichel is indeed gone this summer, which it sounds like it's pretty close to being guaranteed, then
they have Cousins though.
yeah, but you still have a huge void to fill up front.
True.
And
I mean, who knows? Maybe they're trying to get that in the return for Eichel though.
yeah, I mean, I think 3 is good because I think Power will be gone by 3.
Agreed. I think
That's the big takeaway.
I think Power will be taken by Buffalo. I think if he's not somehow, I think Seattle will take him because I think that he's that type of player that you would want as an expansion draft team.
Mm-hmm.
I could, if he's taken first, I could see Seattle taking Matty Beniers, which would leave one of Clark or Eklund for the Ducks. I could also see Seattle maybe taking Eklund.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of up in the air type of things, but overall, I think you're spot on.
I wonder what Seattle's scouting department actually looks like, because the Ducks are pretty famously have one of the more robust European scouting departments. Hence, one of the reasons why they tend to take a lot of Swedes, a few Czechs, and things like that. So they actually do invest in scouting in Europe a little bit more than some other teams. So it'll be interesting to see, if that plays a role, if Seattle has put a focus there. I'm not entirely sure what they would do. I think it kind of depends on their scouting department setup.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who they'll take at 3 because I don't know who's going to go 1 and 2. That's the problem with this draft.
Only concern I have is the Ducks going well off the board.
Well,
I don't think they will.
Well, who's the off the board pick is the question.
Edvinsson.
Possible, but I don't know. I have a hard time seeing them taking one of the remaining D-men. Although Bob Murray did say that what did he say
he said
D-men are so valuable.
Well, he also said there's a lot of good D-men in this draft.
Well, there are,
and he's not wrong.
He's not, but I think that the fact that I think this draft being a defense-heavy draft, which I think is the exact quote Bob Murray had, I think that's a little overblown because there's a lot of good forwards also. So that is my slight concern because if you look at, for instance, like Craig Button's mock draft, he had essentially the entire top 5 being all defensemen, with it being Luke Hughes, with it being Brandt Clark, with it being Simone Edvinsson. Yeah, he had, let me just check. Yeah, he had his top 4 as Owen Power, then Brandt Clark, then Simone Edvinsson, then Luke Hughes.
I will eat my Ducks hat if the top 5 are all defensemen.
Top 4, sorry. I was wrong there. Top 4.
Top 4, but even then,
Yeah.
I think Beniers is going in the top 4. Like I'm
if he's available at 3, oh boy.
It's funny how people are so when people see others criticize Power, they're just so shocked. Like, oh my God, how could you? He's the best player available.
He's not though.
How could you say anything bad?
Hey,
Well,
guys,
like,
he's a
he-
6'6" defenseman who
let-
can skate. Like,
let-
come on, you
let-
don't want to absolutely throw all your resources at that?
Let me rephrase this. Let me rephrase that. The Owen Power could be the best player in this draft, but it's not a landslide where he is this surefire thing more so than Matty Beniers, than a Brant Clark, than a William Eklund. And so I think that there's an argument that can be made, and us three have all made that argument, that Owen Power is not the best player out of that mix. There's a possibility where he ends up being it, for sure. That's how it ends up with prospects. You don't fully know how it's going to end up. But I think that it's not this surefire number one thing like some people talk about. And I think that that's the key takeaway there.
Yeah. I mean, I might come to regret being so like down on Power, but I think that he's just not a guy you'd want to take with that high of a pick. I just think you want to target upside, but I think that Beniers will go too. That is my guess, because I think if you're Seattle, think about it. Like you're starting from ground zero. And so you want to have like, who is the foundational piece out of the guys that are going to be available if Power is off the board? Like, to me, Beniers is the closest thing to that, of just kind of a do-it-all player.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that.
Honestly, like, one of the reasons why I like Beniers so much is because I kind of see him like my personal scouting report of him is like Barzal light. There's several things. I think Barzal has a higher ceiling than he does, and I think that Barzal definitely has like a better shot, but the playmaking is similar. The motor, the speed is very similar. They play a very similar style of game. Their transition game is excellent. And he's, I mean, really, Beniers is about like, to me, his ideal placement would be this all-around, very little weaknesses second line center on a good team. Like, you put him on second C, and he's going to give you everything you want in a hockey game. And so that type of all-around game, you're right, may very well appeal to a team like Seattle trying to build up, and especially using analytics so heavily in their decision making.
Here's a fun question as I see this on the board. If I could see them taking Owen Power, Buffalo taking Owen Power, who's going to be the better defenseman, Rasmus Dahlin or Owen Power?
I mean, that's kind of a wide open question.
It is
right now.
It is.
I mean, I still have faith in Dahlin.
Before last season, I would have said Dahlin, no question, but he had a rough year. I would still go Dahlin. I'm not willing to, throw away his upside off of one, particularly bad season. But
Dahlin
it's
had a
conversation worth having.
Dahlin had a good season, I would say. This was a bounce back year for him.
Yeah.
Robert, his numbers look pretty good. Not great, but pretty good.
Robert M, by the way, YouTube chat, throw in questions, by the way. If you have questions for us on this, let's hit those quick, and then we'll kind of wrap up and get out of here. But Robert M brings up a good point. The draft comes after the expansion draft, so we'll probably have a much better idea. They shouldn't base their entire decision-making at the draft on the expansion draft, but we will at least probably have a better idea of the route they're going to take based upon which guys they end up taking in the expansion draft. If they end up with kind of a younger center, things like that, maybe they end up going with a defenseman as compared to a center. And so we'll be able to kind of glean a little bit more information to the way that Seattle is going to go. But I'm feeling pretty confident that Buffalo is going to take Owen Power at their first overall pick.
I would agree. I would put my money on that too.
Yeah.
And so I think really it comes down to who Seattle takes. And if they take Beniers, the Ducks will have Eklund waiting there for him. If they take Eklund, the Ducks will have Beniers waiting there for him. So, or if they want to, they could take Brant Clark. I mean, the downside is that you already have a right-hand shot defenseman in Jamie Drysdale, but you can't have too many good defensemen. And so if you have a high, and he brings something a little bit different than
Jake, you keep forgetting Jesper Wallstedt. Come on, man.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, I'm seeing people saying that Seattle's going to take him now, and it's like,
Who, Wallstedt?
That's not a bad idea.
Really?
Seattle taking Wallstedt, I don't think is an awful idea.
That's not a bad idea.
I think it's a terrible idea.
It's not a bad
You're right.
idea.
It's not a bad idea. It's a terrible idea. You're right. Yeah, I don't know. People are like, so I can already see the reactions of, oh, the Ducks once again drop back. And it's like, this is just not a draft to be like upset
The
about that at
reason,
all.
the reason,
Yeah, no, it's not.
the reason why this was a good draft to be bad in was the fact that they could fall from 2 to 3, and this isn't that big of a deal. Whereas last year, dropping from Byfield to Stutzle was a somewhat of a big deal, and so
Yes.
and so this year is the year that it's fine to drop, and that's why you be bad, because then you're not relying upon the lottery to really make up for the fact that to get you a good player. So
You're not leaving the future of your team up to purely chance. You're doing something to actually maybe work some odds in your favor.
Chris Bruno has a really interesting question, and I think it's a very, very good one. So let's just hit it, and then we'll bounce out of here. Do you think it's possible that this draft is better than people are expecting, and the lack of scouting this past year is why nobody is rating it that highly?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I will say yes, but I would say marginally. I'm not going to go so far as to say, oh man, we're going to get a superstar out of this draft. I think that, technology is good enough, and that, we've been able to see enough to where, they're still professional scouts. It's not like if they can't see them in person, they suddenly forget how to do their jobs. But that being said, we very well, I think, yes, in the fact that maybe Owen Power turns into a bona fide number one defenseman who can hold down great two-way defensemen, and that's better than a lot of people were necessarily predicting from him. I think that that is very possible, maybe even likely. I just wouldn't go to the extreme of saying, oh yeah, no, there's a McDavid that nobody's seeing in this draft. No, we're not going to go that far.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is that Matty Beniers was at a point per game, or slightly under a point per game. Kent Johnson was at a point per game. Those are both very high numbers for draft eligible players in the NCAA. William Eklund had the most points per game, or second most points per game in the SHL from a draft eligible player in the last 20 years, behind Elias Lindholm. Better than a lot of different players that have come out of that league, better than Backstrom, different things like that. And so these are players that Eklund and Beniers and even a Kent Johnson put up points in leagues where it's not like juniors where these guys are kind of in the middle of the age group. In the NCAA, those guys are young. In the SHL, you're playing against men. And so I think there's a possibility that some of these guys, and I think of Brant Clark's another one where he went to Slovakia, right? And played over in Slovakia and put up points. And that's not exactly this league that it's easy to translate success to the NHL, because we don't really have any example of it. So there's a possibility where they way exceed expectations because there's not really these great comparables. And they're playing in these tougher leagues, playing against men, and it's really preparing them. And so I think there's definitely a possibility of that. So
yeah, I mean, if they go D at 3, assuming Power is off, let's just say Power and Beniers are gone at 3, I think they might not go D, because after that, I don't really see the Ducks taking a defenseman who's kind of got, like, every defenseman after that kind of in that grouping, I feel like has question marks. Like Edvinsson is super raw, all over the place. Clark, it's like, how much are you willing to buy into the season he had? Luke Hughes has the injury issues, and so maybe they take a forward at that point. Like, it's hard to say who they will take, because the Ducks, like, taking Drysdale at 6 was kind of like a safe pick for them, I think. And so I don't know if they're willing to roll the dice on one of these guys. Maybe that's not how they view them, though. Maybe they view them as much more solid. But it will be very interesting if it's like one of those 3 guys.
Yep.
Of Clark, Edvinsson, and Hughes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts from you guys?
No, this was fun. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. And we will talk to you all on the weekend to kind of break this all down, talk about some other stuff, talk about probably Bob Murray's comments, see how Felix is doing, see if he's still alive after Montreal keeps playing, and see how that goes.
I'm way less stressed about this series.
Yeah.
Just tell you that.
So thanks for everyone for joining us, and have a good one.
Bye, everybody.